It is a beautiful day for racing as we get set to resume. One mile around this concrete canyon, and we'll do it another 172 times. Saturday, the race got started under threatening skies, rain in the morning, and didn't go long before contact put Robbie Gordon around on the front straightaway. The race restarted and ran to lap 16, where either Greg Biffle went up or Ron Hornaday came down, and Hornaday goes to the wall in turn number 1. Or crashing behind as drivers couldn't get woed up. Ashton Lewis got turned around by Shane Meal and then pile driven by Billy Parker. While the race was under that caution and being cleaned up, the rains came and put us under the red flag.
On Saturday, when the heavens opened up and the rain came down, NASCAR impounded the entire field of Busch cars. No one was allowed to get anywhere near them until this morning. Mechanics were allowed today to check the air pressure, change it if they wanted to, lift the hood, fire up the motor, put water in the radiator if they wanted to, but that was about it. No performance adjustments were allowed of any kind. So these cars right now are exactly the way they were when the race was stopped on Saturday. Mike?
Bobby Hamilton Jr. is our leader from David Green. Jason Leffler, Johnny Sauter, and Greg Biffle will be the top 5. There's Mark Truex, who is 6th. Kyle Busch, Tony Raines, David Stremme, Kevin Harvick are the top 10. Justin Labonte is 11th, ahead of Mike Bliss, Todd Bodine, Matt Kenseth, and Kenny Wallace. And again, just like any other red flag situation, first time around the pits are closed, and then they will open, and for the first time in 48 hours, as Steve pointed out, these teams will be able to make some adjustments and get ready for a brand new day.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to a lot of crew chiefs this morning, Mike, and we still have basically about 37 cars still on the lead lap. Now, they only have 9 laps on their tires, but the concern, those tires have been heat cycled, and they've been sitting in that garage area for 2 days. Now, NASCAR is still going to throw a caution, a competition caution about lap 45, but I still think we'll see most of the teams come to pit road on this caution for 4 tires and adjustments.
Today, it's just over 70 degrees, a much nicer day than Saturday or Sunday, and a lot of sun putting heat in the racetrack.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I think the big difference is right here in this track temperature from Saturday, but this is a concrete racetrack, and we continue to note the fact that concrete is not as sensitive to air temperature as an asphalt racetrack.
One of the cars damaged in that second caution, Ashton Lewis, although the pits are closed, they're in early. They have been looking at that race car. They've not been allowed to touch it, but they've been fabricating patch panels to try to get that car halfway competitive for the balance of this race.
Well, they better get off pit road in a hurry, because here comes the whole field. The pits are open. It looks like everyone on the lead lap will come to pit road this time.
Let's go to Steve.
And Jason Leffler is on pit road. Right side tires going on the 00 Chevrolet of Leffler. They will take 4 tires on this stop. Booty Barker's crew completing their service. Robbie Gordon hitting right behind him. And he's got a clear shot down pit road. Dick.
And Bobby Hamilton just messed up big time. The leader has lost the right rear tire. He did not park the car properly in the pit. The red mark was apparently too far back. Now Hamilton is trying to back up through traffic as cars are leaving. And a disastrous pit stop for the leader just then.
Yeah, I mean, not only are they going to have a tough time, he's back in his pit box and they're jacking it up. They may very well get the tire on, but look at all the damage right there on this quarter panel, and possibly damage the brake rotor, possibly some mechanical damage as well. Huge mistake by that team on pit road.
They had the best car on Saturday, but a lot changes in 48 hours.
He's going to get off pit road before the field comes around. There you see his right rear tire that ran off, but the question would be how much damage is to that car. So he's going to go, we know, at least from first to about 37th on that mistake.
Pit stops continue. Hermie Sadler coming in. Ashton Lewis was in for some repair. Gus Wasson in the 10th coming back in. Robert Presley has assumed the lead of this race in the Clorox 27. Hamilton's going to come back around. Unlike the the Nextel Cup teams that are mostly comprised of full-time team members, here in the Busch Series, a lot of these teams use part-time help on the weekends, fellas that have a regular 5-day job during the week. For that reason, there are some new people over the wall today, and there are even some pits that are not fully staffed with equipment. We see a couple of pits don't even have a toolbox there in the center. Now, Kyle Busch missed his pit stall and is just coming out. So it's a strange restart to this race. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is back in. They check things over and send him away.
Well, I think this just goes to show that red flag for 2 days just broke these teams' rhythm, broke the driver's rhythm and these pit crews' rhythm.
Here's the initial stop.
Now, Bobby Hamilton did what he was supposed to do. His signal to go is not someone telling him to go. It's when the jack drops. The jack dropped by mistake. Bobby Hamilton Jr. goes.
Green flag to restart, beginning lap 33. Robert Presley from Asheville, North Carolina, veteran of this series.
And Mike, I think the reason they stayed out, they were back in 24th. They know we're going to get another caution here in about 10 or 12 laps. Stay out there, get some notoriety by leading this race, and, you know, get you some bonus points for leading.
Car number 10, Gus Wasson, ran the stop sign at the end of pit road. Black flag on that car.
Another car he's got a lot of heat from right now is Paul Menard in that 33 car. That's another car that elected to stay out. In the car behind them, Jamie McMurray in the 1 car, he was back in 16th position. Another car that opted not to come to pit road on that last caution.
David Green behind him and Jason Leffler coming hard. Getting set for the restart with Truex starting second and Kyle Busch restarting 25th. The point lead would flip-flop once again. Jamie McMurray. James Finch, Miccosukee Gaming Dodge is the race leader as we go back to Green. Truex second, David Green third, Robbie Gordon, Greg Biffle. One of the point leaders' problems at this stage, Dick Berggren.
Well, it's a laundry list. Kyle Busch has got all kinds of problems. The radio continues to not work. The crew cannot hear him. He can hear them. They believe, based on his hand signals, that the water temperature is above 250 degrees. They have flat-spotted tires. NASCAR has given them just 3 tires. The only ones you can get free when you flat-spotted tires are the ones that go flat. And so they're really having their problems down at car number 5 today. Kyle Busch is dead.
Of course, Dick Berggren talked at the beginning of the show all the things that NASCAR would allow these teams to do, and installing a new radio was on the list of things they could do.
Looks like we're going to get to race a little while. For the first time in this event, 50 laps complete of 200. McMurray has stepped out a pretty good lead from Martin Truex.
I'm pretty impressed with that because that's old tires versus new tires. Jamie McMurray has not been to pit road yet since his race started back on Saturday. Martin Truex was one of the cars that pitted on the first caution we had today.
McMurray restarted today at lap 28 in 16th position. Raines, Harvick, and Kenseth at 6, 7, and 8 in the positions. And that's Johnny Sauter's car, lapped after bringing out that caution.
Yeah, I think he has more than just cosmetic damage to that car. I think he has other issues. Of course, right now, he would be the first car lapped down, so he would get the pardon should we get a caution.
Well, and right now, he's got the same car in his mirror as he had when all that started.
Which is actually the car that he drove part-time last year, Richard Childress. was just going to say, when you look at Jamie McMurray, Mike, I mean, this is only his 4th Busch start this year. Pretty good numbers. He has a win, he has a second, and it was leading the race at Richmond last month when he blew a right front tire. So what few starts he has, he's definitely been one of the cars to beat.
Mark McFarland in the Tommy Baldwin number 6, the Hungry Driver car. Several drivers auditioning in these races for a long-term shot at that ride. Jason Leffler trying to come back up through after that stop with a damaged nose on his car, the 00. And Casey Kane, who came so close to winning when he got into the oil, broken oil line apparently on Casey Mears' car. Casey Kane was leading less than 20 laps from victory, and his car ended up in a heap when he ran into somebody else's trouble.
And I was a little concerned because even though he's young, when he got out of that race car yesterday, this is a hard hit. This is not concrete walls. This is steel walls. And I bet he's a little sore this morning.
Yeah, he had a little pronounced limp when he climbed from the car. But here he comes in the 38, the Great Clips car. Trying to put the move on Paul Menard. This is for 23rd.
Lap down cars to contend with on the inside. Jamie McMurray in the 1 car now. We're quite sure he has not been to pit road. Lap 76. Talk about teams can only run about 90 to 100 laps on fuel, but we've had 41 laps of caution. That buys you another 20 laps of time on the track on fuel.
Mike Wallace with the free pass car. Pit stop if we can keep everybody out of harm's way for the next 122 circuits. 11th place, Jason Keller with Mike Bliss behind. Bit of crash damage repair on the Rockwell Chevy.
Now, Mike Bliss in the 20 car, he's one of the cars that has pitted since that pit stop that most teams made back on lap 30, so he has a little fresher tires than these guys right here.
And in Jason Keller's pit, the 22, Greg Pollux, the car owner, his wife Julia's mother passed away over the weekend, so our condolences go out to their family.
There you see what we thought to be 2 of the best cars in the race, at least when this thing started on Saturday. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 car, who was leading this race when we restarted, and then Kyle Busch in the 5, our points leader. They are working their way back up to the front. They are now in 14th and 15th position.
Oh, Kyle loosens up. Hamilton goes by.
I believe he may have really loosened him up.
Yeah, that wasn't just loosening up.
Tim Fiedler.
Tim Fiedler car, yeah.
I think that old chrome horn got him pretty loose.
See a little damage on the tail of Fiedler's car, not much. He's able to continue. Up front, Greg Biffle for 4th, pressuring Robbie Gordon.
The car I've been watching, Mike, we're riding with him right now, Michael Waltrip in the 99 car. He's in 8th position. Didn't have a very good qualifying run the other day, 33rd. His car is really quick through the middle of the corner, a lot like Robbie Gordon. The status of this team, they came in here 3rd in points. They're going to run Nashville, they're going to run Kentucky. Milwaukee is the unknown, but I think today and the next week or 2 will dictate that.
There's where Kyle Busch got into Tim Fiedler.
You could even see the bumper on Tim's car. Tim very lucky he didn't get up in that wall. We're on the verge of having the longest green run that we've had this entire race right here.
Truex the leader. Jamie McMurray, who has not stopped, And if this race has a long green run, he'll need to. Now here's Casey Kane, the 38, Paul Menard, the 33, and Jason Leffler battling for 18th.
These are cars that pitted back on lap 65. Mainly the reason Jason Leffler's been pitting, as we talked about the damage to the front of his car. Looks like Booty Barker and that group has it pretty much repaired. Jason Leffler in a 00. He definitely was one of the better cars in final practice on Friday afternoon, qualified back in the 3rd position.
Here's Greg Biffle. He has had a couple of good runs off turn 2 at Robbie Gordon, and once just barely got alongside, but not enough to try to steal the spot. You see him close right there on Gordon.
Of course, Robbie was in the 55, was protecting the inside. Greg looked like he had to get completely out of the throttle. Down here in 3 and 4, Greg's been moving up to the high side, but it looks like he tries to stay at the bottom that time to see if he can get, if he can ever get that right front fender to Robbie's left rear quarter panel. He knows he can complete the pass, but he just can't quite get there.
How about Greg Biffle, Dick?
Well, this morning I talked to his crew chief, Brad Parrott, and he was all smiles, Mike, because the setup that he put underneath his 60 car, he thought was going to work much better with the kind of weather that we have today than the weather we wound up with on Saturday. The forecast for Saturday was that things were supposed to clear off and be pretty darn nice. So a lot of people, however, were really kind of set up for the overcast. Not these guys. The weather is playing in their favor. The car is just right, Steve.
Dick, as Mike Joy just confirmed, the one car, Jamie McMurray, has not pitted yet. Their car is loose right now. He's got a little bit of a gap between he and the 37, but when cars do get behind him, he gets even looser.
And when your car can do this on this older tires versus fresh tires on other cars, that's a sign of a good working race car. But the problem's going to be 20, 25 laps. He's probably going to have to make a green flag stop should we not have a caution.
Greg Biffle has passed Robbie Gordon, and that's for 4th. Remember what happened to Biffle on Saturday when this race initially started. He and Ron Hornaday got together. That brought up the caution that led to the red flag for rain. Best battle on track right now is Kyle Busch and Bobby Hamilton Jr. trying to come up through the field. Just in front of them, the 31 with its new driver Todd Bodine has gone past Michael Waltrip. Here's this crowd that we've been watching. Casey Atwood trying to hold off Busch and Hamilton, who after pit miscues are working their way back up front.
It's like Kyle Busch in the 5's been poking the hole. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25's been going through it to complete the pass. It's been going on about the last 10 or 12 cars that they have passed.
Oh, Atwood had a little loose and catch it. Slide up the hill there. He's going to fall into the clutches of Mike Bliss. And Robert Presley coming back toward the front, one of this race's early leaders. Leads him down for the restart. Greg Biffle's going to try to take it to him on the outside. No, he drops in line.
Boy, Robbie got her. Look at the run he got through the middle of turn 1 and 2. He pulls Greg about 4 car lengths off turn 2.
But Kyle Busch is coming. They're in 5th place.
But Greg Biffle has his hands full now with Martin Truex Jr. in that 8 car back there at 3rd spot. Another car that's coming back there right behind that red and white car, Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that 25 car. Remember leading this race when it was red flagged on Saturday, had the disastrous pit stop and went back under caution before the green flag. He's back up to 8th position.
During that caution, pit problems on 2 cars. Jamie McMurray's team had a lug nut hang in the socket of their air wrench on the left rear that slowed their stop. And Todd Bodine had to make a second stop in the Ted Marsh Wheelan car for a problem on the right rear. So they're deep in the field. There comes Todd, slicing and dicing in that 31.
He's definitely back there in the eye of the storm right now. That's the biggest pack of wad of cars, I might say, on the racetrack.
Here's what happened to Jamie McMurray's crew in the pit. Watch the left rear wheel.
Had a pretty good stop going right here. They were doing everything they needed to do. He pitted shallow in the box, not to get blocked in, but you can see him beating the air wrench on the ground, trying to get the socket, the lug nut out of the socket. It just won't come out. He finally gets it out.
Biffle, Truex, second place, changing hands behind Robbie Gordon.
And while these guys have been racing, Robbie Gordon's pulled out over a second lead over these guys in the 55 car.
Greg Biffle's dropped the spot, Dick. Anything wrong?
Well,
Ooh, smoke
he just
from
got on the
Gordon.
radio mic and told the crew that the car is a little bit loose. He has been, oh boy, big problems on the racetrack.
Robbie Gordon's cut down a tire and he nearly lost the car. It looks like the right rear is flat, Larry.
Yeah. You know, I believe the track bar has broken that car. It's what holds the rear end in the center of the car. We saw the same problem on a car last week at Lowe's, and that's the reason you see the body way over to the right and the left rear way out.
You can see it dragging on the ground from the left rear. Steve?
And guys, I'm listening to Robbie Gordon on the radio. He said that they just broke a Pinard bar. And he said, guys, I'm sorry. We had him covered today. He said, we definitely broke the Pinard bar. The team is already pointing towards the garage area.
Stock car racers call that a track bar. Robbie's background in pavement racing is road racing, where they call it a Panhard rod after Panhard, the French engineer who invented it.
And it possibly it could be the mount. It hooks to the frame on the right side, and you see it right here. He goes off in the corner, coming up off the corner. Everything looks good. Right there where the car is in a lot of load, you can see right there, that right there is where either the bar itself breaks or possibly one of the mounts. It's mounted to the frame on the right side and to the left rear trailing arm.
So Robbie Gordon's chance to win has gone out the window. The monster claims another victim.
Let's just show you here with our Fox animation what the track bar does and where it's located. This is about an adjustment, and this has nothing to do with adjustment, but we'll go through it here and I'll show you. This right here is the track bar right there. And you see it's hooked to the trailing arm on the left side, the frame on the right side. Evidently the bar itself broke, or one of those mounts possibly.
It was the left side that was dragging on the ground. Likely that's where the break is. It puts Martin Truex Jr. out front. Greg Biffle, David Green, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Mike Bliss, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Jamie
Look
McMurray.
at Biffle, good grief. The 60 car. We were looking at his right door numbers as he came off the corner. Loose. And he lost a lot of ground to David Green in the 37 car when he did that off turn 4 the last time.
Well, Matt Kenseth's Ford was loose. Greg Biffle's Ford is loose.
And if he's loose, when David Green in the 37 gets close to him, he's going to be real loose as you see him closing in. Takes the air off that rear spoke.
74 laps to go. David Green on the charge, has the inside, and looks like Biffle wisely is going to let him go.
Yeah, he said, if I was that loose by myself, I do not want him tucked up behind me. And he's going to have another car tucked up behind him here shortly. The 5 car, Kyle Busch, is coming.
The lead is a bad place to be. Robbie Gordon leading breaks, and Greg Biffle leading, running for the lead, gets slideways there. We restarted today at lap 29, just 7 laps in. Justin Labonte loses it, gets into the wall. Kevin Harvick gives a little tap there to Johnny Sauter, and Sauter wrecks. Lap 64, Matt Kenseth was not touched by Harvick, but went up and into the wall. Lap 73, that's Ron Hornaday losing it, but no caution. Lap 109, Gus Lawson up and into the wall. And then Robbie Gordon, while leading, breaks a track bar and somehow holds onto the car, but not his chance to win. Steve?
Mike, Robbie Gordon just out of the race car. Robbie, we can hear the disappointment in your voice talking to your crew when you said you broke the Panhard bar leading this race.
Yeah, very disappointing for Fruit of the Loom, Chevrolet. Everybody involved had a great race car today. Disappointing.
Do you know how it broke, Robbie?
A weld broke. We didn't touch anything on there. Didn't hit anything all weekend long. So pretty disappointed. We had a great race car. RCR guys gave me a great pit stop and put us out in front. Track position means so much. And we took off there. Thought we were going to have enough, but unfortunately came up short again today.
Good luck next week.
Thanks.
And Mike, you know, we talked about this racetrack, a 1-mile racetrack, but the suspension never gets a rest here. It's loaded so hard all the time in these 24-degree banking corners.
The punishing track on race cars. Jamie McMurray, despite the miscue on the left rear in the pits, he is coming back. He is in 7th place, 4.7 seconds off the lead. Martin Truex Jr. has about 0.8 of a second on David Green now, with Greg Biffle holding on to a very loose race car in 3rd.
I've been watching David Green, though, slowly but surely he's been reeling in Martin Truex Jr. That car seems to be pretty good here. I think they made the right adjustments on that car. This car was a brand new car that was just barely finished. They just barely brought it here untested, set a new track record in qualifying the other day on Friday.
Green's car has looked right around the bottom of the racetrack and stable all day.
And the most impressive thing about that race car, they were terrible in final practice on Friday, and they made wholesale changes to that race car. Pretty good when it started Saturday, pretty good today. Dick Bergman.
Well, I've been walking up and down pit road, Larry McReynolds, and I asked about Martin Truex, whether he had enough fuel to make it. Bono, his crew chief, said sure do. Went to David Green's pit, and they are in an absolute panic down there. They don't know if they've got enough fuel to make it. They don't think they do. Biffle's pit said yes, they do have enough fuel. So number 37 right now running in 2nd spot may well run out of gas before we run out of laps this afternoon.
Back straightaway, 49 car slows Derek Cope after contact from Kyle Busch. Looks like he's going to get going again without any further incident. Busch just swept up and into him coming off turn 2. Truex trying to expand that lead. It's 0.9 of a second now over David Green.
I mean, talking to all the crew chiefs the other morning and again this morning, most of them told me they could run about 90 to 95, close to 100 laps on fuel. In fact, Kevin Mannion, Mark Truex Jr.'s crew chief, told me easy 100 laps. They pitted on lap 110 with 90 to go. We had a few cautions before the restart. I would think that most of these cars should be able to make it.
Well, this gets very interesting because 5 drivers stayed out and did not pit. David Green, Kevin Harvick, Tim Fedewa, Johnny Sauter, and Dick Berggren, Mark McFarland.
A remarkable story with Mark McFarland. He is an absolute rookie here at Dover. He ran a few laps in the truck race before falling out here on Friday. But he is part of that Hungry Drivers program in which they are testing several people. The best of the bunch is going to get nearly a full-time ride next year. And this 5th position by McFarland is by far the best that anybody has turned in yet. So you may be watching a career in the making this afternoon at Dover, Delaware.
And the first car that changed 4 tires is Greg Biffle back in 8th because Kyle Busch in the 5 car changed only 2 tires. We think Kenny Wallace either just changed 2 or fuel only. We're back to racing.
Kenny Wallace was 14th in the caution flag, but was the 2nd car out of the pits.
And all of those cars, Mike, could be David Green's best friend because cars like Greg Biffle, Martin Truex, they'll have to fight those cars before they get to him with 50 laps to go.
Kenny Wallace took only left side tires. 2 tire change there. Got a thread through traffic. Big knot of traffic behind the front 6. And it includes Truex, trying to get back to the front, Mike Bliss, who's been strong today, and Hamilton. Larry, you just got to tiptoe through there.
I mean, you do. I mean, this racetrack is such a hit-your-mark, line-sensitive racetrack anyhow, and you try to do it running 2 and 3 wide. Just think about David Green. If they were close on fuel, as we talked about, those cautions should buy them the extra fuel that they would need to get to the end.
Oh, Kyle Busch loosened up Johnny Sauter. Here comes Biffle, has a run on Kyle because Kyle had to lift when he got into Sauter just a bit. Biffle makes the pass.
And of course, Greg Biffle has 4 fresh tires versus only 2 on Kyle Busch, the 5 car. Yeah, that move, it bought a position for Kyle Busch with the 27 car, Johnny Sauter, but then he lost it back to Greg Biffle because it broke his momentum.
Truex working on Kenny Wallace now, turn 3. Tucks the nose down low. Now he's got room.
If there is a car out there that wants to see these last 46 laps go without a caution, it would definitely be David Green, our leader in the 37. He's starting to stretch it out on Kevin Harvick in the 21.
Mark McFarland's strategy did not play out. He's drifting back in the field. McMurray and Keller just got past him. Truex underneath Sauter. That's the position.
Right then, David Green, our leader, and Martin Truex in the 8 car back in 6. Both those guys had the quickest laps, and they were identical laps on the timing monitor here. Lap car Kevin LePage that Martin Truex just went by, and here you see Jamie McMurray in 1 car. I've been watching Mark McFarland in that 6 car you were talking about him. He has a tire rub on the left front, Mike.
There it is. A little bit of rub as the nose settles off and goes off in the corner. Todd Bodine underneath McFarland, moving up 1 notch. That'll be for 17.
See the left front banged in right there when he goes off into the corner and the car travels. That's when it really rubs. You see the smoke right there in the middle of 1 and 2.
Leader David Green by a full second over Kevin Harvick. Tony Raines, Mike Bliss, both lead lap cars for 10. And here comes McMurray on the inside. He's going to change that battle up with his Dodge.
I think now that we're 2, 3/4 the way through this race, we definitely have 2 distinct grooves of racing these guys can get in right now, unlike before. Here's the battle between the first and second guy in the points. Martin Truex Jr. in the 8, Kyle Busch in the 5. This is a battle for 5th. Regardless of the outcome, pretty impressive run by Kyle Busch in that 5 car. No radios, having to communicate with where he puts the car on the racetrack. Got in a wreck earlier, so pretty impressive run by this group, showing that championship form.
Greg Biffle's lead, under 10 to go, 1.8 seconds over David Green. David Green, though, is holding Martin Truex off by about 0.6 of a second. Truex is trying hard to close. Dick Berggren.
But Truex is having problems, Mike, with that number 8 automobile. The problem Truex is faced with is that the car has gone tight on him as a result of a big hole that has been punched in the headlight area of the right front fender. So he's struggling out there in 3rd spot.
Of course, if that car is pushing there, you see the hole right there, and I mean, that really takes front downforce away. He's still running quick laps, so he's one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. When he gets to David Green, that takes the air off the nose and magnifies that push.
And he is 2 David Green, but has just 6 laps to go as Greg Biffle is vanishing from his 2 closest contenders.
But, Mike, I think this is where Martin Truex Jr. in that group, this is where they need the big picture race. A 3rd place finish today. They've led a lap. They came in here 38 points behind Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is 2 positions behind him right now in 5th, that third place finish is not looking too bad right now as we have 5 laps to go.
There is Kyle Busch running in 5th. Kevin Harvick is the 6th place car. Jamie McMurray, Casey Kane, Tim Fedewa, Johnny Sauter. The top 10. This battle then is for 6th. Harvick and McMurray.
It's like McMurray has never overcame that problem on that pit stop. He got logged back there in just barely in the top 10, and he's just never been able to overcome it.
The 9th place battle's a good one back behind this group. Tim Fedewa.
It's more than a battle. It's a quad.
It's a war. Tim Fedewa, Johnny Sauter, Kenny Wallace, Tony Raines. They are all fighting for 9th place.
But meanwhile, back at the ranch, Greg Biffle's going to have 2 to go. He just cleared, I think, the last lap traffic he'll have to contend with. 2 to go before that battle for 2nd has really heated up with Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car, David Green in the 37.
Both these drivers are racing for the championship. They're both in a make no mistakes position.
Whoa, he gets David Green loose.
Big loose.
Remember, David Green's on much older tires. David Green's not ready to give up, but I think those fresh tires will prevail. So Martin Truex will take 2nd away as we'll get the white flag this time.
McMurray back underneath Kevin Harvick another time. That will change 6th place back once again.
While they're racing side by side, looks like Casey Kane in the 38 car, he's actually a lap down, so he will not. No, he's not. He's back there right behind these guys, 4th position.
Off turn 4 comes the Charter Communication Ford. Greg Biffle scores his 14th series victory. The 2002 champ will roll to victory lane in the MBNA America 400 or 200. Martin Truex Jr. gets 2nd, David Green 3rd, Bobby Hamilton Jr. 4th, and Kyle Busch 5th.
And I just had talked about that battle back there with Casey Kane, McMurray, and Fedewa. Casey Kane beat McMurray back to the start-finish line to finish 7th by about the width of a front bumper.
Steve Burns in the winning pit.
With crew chief Brad Parrott. Brad, you guys have had ups and downs, but your 3rd win of this 2004 season, how's it feel?
Feels good. I want to thank everybody back at Roush Racing in Mooresville. Fab Shop built us a great race car. The engine shop did a great job, and I can't thank every guy on this team enough. Yeah, we have fought our ups and downs, but Jack Roush, and I want to thank Whipple for giving us that setup for Mark's car yesterday. And Charter team's awesome, and there's another blown tire on the 60 car. Come on.
That's quite a burnout.
That is. He's an awesome driver, and we got to keep giving him good race cars. There's some rumors out there about Greg Biffle, but he's with Roush, and he's going to be with Roush for years to come.
All right, it was a sweep here at Dover for Roush Racing. Mark Martin wins yesterday, Mike.
In that burnout, Greg Biffle wasn't any more sideways than he's been all day, Larry.
That's about the truth. But it don't count now.
We'll go to victory lane with Greg Biffle next.
Wow, what a weekend you have had. Let's take a look at the door of this thing. Go, look at this. In the happy hour session, the very last practice session, involved in a crash, car loose all day long. How did you win this race today, Greg?
Well, I tell you what, Brad and these guys did a great job on the Charter Bass car. It's pretty awesome. I need to apologize to Ron Hornaday and Richard Childress. I got in the back of their car early in the race on Saturday and certainly didn't mean to. I thought he was giving me the bottom and feel real bad about that, but I'm excited about how good of a job these guys have done for us. This thing, just all the sponsors, Coca-Cola, National Guard, and Subway, everybody's just been behind us the whole way.
How did you hang on to that thing when it was so loose?
Man, him talking me into...
That's Brad Parrott, crew chief.
Just take it easy, take it easy. And it's so frustrating, because you're just on the edge of your life out there. Car's so dang loose, but we made some adjustments. The guys lowered the track bar and put some air in the right front, and boy, she took off there.
Congratulations, a great run. And by the way, the 9th win for crew chief Brad Parrott. Steve?
Well, Dick, with the 2nd and 3rd place drivers. 2nd and 3rd place drivers, Martin Truex and David Green. Martin, another good points day for you.
Yeah, it was a great day. Rich Chevrolet was real good all day. I felt like we had the best car until about the middle part of the race, and then we just got too tight. And know, we thought about staying out there when David did, and I felt like I was just too tight. We needed tires, so we put them on and had some adjustments, just didn't quite go far enough, and had to run real hard in that lap traffic at the end, and just hurt my right front. And but overall, great day for us, great pit stops, and Bono done a great job all day as usual.
All right, thank you, Martin. And David Green, now let's talk about your morning and afternoon here at Dover.
Seemed like a short race. I forgot we got a 30-lap head start, but Timberwolf Chevrolet was very good. I got the best crew chief in the business, Jason Ratcliffe, and that's what wins races like Mark Martin yesterday. He made a gutsy call. Not that I agreed 100% at the moment, but my car really stayed good. We just needed like 10 less laps on that run. Instead of 55, we needed about a 40-lap run. I think we held them off.